What's up, everybody? So today I'm just going to be working out this guy's. I did recode it, so it is a lot more efficient now. Alright, so instead of that, So, just noticed something. This should be collapsed for locality reasons. Yeah, it really should. It really should, because no, I can't do that. Well, I can, but people aren't gonna like it. Especially if they have to integrate it into legacy code. Okay. We'll go with my original approach. I'll have to do some synchronization logic there, but I can do that. It's fine. Let's assume rubber optional. So if this is not present, then what we can do is no. Otherwise, we can do the database portion. And actually, we're gonna add a note. Add packet. So, what we can do from here then is versus this is going to need a few more parameters. So, how's everybody? Yo, what's up, Blacklisting? So currently I'm working on Hephaestus, which is a network core. Basically, it has ranks, grants, punishments, notes, proof, request reports, things like that. Stuff to help staff manage their server, basically. How are you? How have you been? I haven't talked to you in ages, man. Do you want to hop on call, dude? Because if so, it'd be really chill to talk to you, man. If not, all good, because I know it's probably really late for you. I bet. Just ping me on Discord when you're ready, man. So, I guess, huh? So, and then what we'll do is we'll do.
Here we go.
So what we'll do is we'll come down here to this guy's skin. So actually, I think I can. Yeah, I can use the shit that I borrowed from or stuff that I wrote earlier for Live Disguises edition. Here's some seed. I don't remember what I called it. Oh, I called it Disguise. That's what I called it. The in profile. Fetch that. And then let us get so. And I believe I already have compiler keys on this. Because I need it for Hephaestus, or not for Hephaestus, for the Kuma's conversion, because it uses juicing. This I already have Apache 5, so we can use this. Skin result. Get skin. Wait, what's your name?
Invincible.
Oh shit, sure. It's dev sci-fi. I don't think you added me. Is your thing still blacklisting? I guess technically I can just do that. Oh yeah, these can all be fine with values. That can be reloaded. You wanna call? Here, yes. Oh, not too bad, my man. Yeah, it's been. I have no clue. It's been what, at least a year and a half, 2 years. I have no clue. I know. I think it was. I think it was before I started working at Lotus, actually. That's true. How you been? Been better, but it is what it is. Not much actually. Just been trying to chill, enjoy life. Been trying to keep busy as well, because it's been pretty hectic of a year. It's kind of boring, but also no, I haven't had time. Aside from creating new content for Lotus, I just haven't had much time to do that stuff. Yeah, that's fair. That's what I'm trying to kind of remove with the new updates. I kind of want to bring back like a more free-to-play environment, so that way you don't have to pay to get stuff, because it's kind of boring when you have to just pay for everything. Lotus is currently factions, more of it's turning more into a casual network than a comp network. So it'll be less pay to win and more or less like a longer paced out map as well, with a lot more like a lot more featureful gameplay. That's fair. We're currently working on a custom insurance recode. Well, yeah, of course. You kinda have to, otherwise it's not really playable. Oh my god, Astro PvP on God. Man, I miss those days. So true. I will never understand how servers poorly balance, especially no, like willingly. I've always preferred to at least have some balance. Just like, don't get me wrong, I get wanting to make money from a network, but also, why throw away playable for money? Nobody's gonna play consistently. But what have you been up to? Like, outside of Minecraft? Much, or? That's fair. That's fair. So are you doing much for work now? Like, what do you do for work now? Oh, that's fucking sucky, man. I hate to hear that. That's honestly fair. I can't blame you. I wouldn't either. I don't know. I mean, like, low-key, Minecraft could be fun if Mojang stopped screwing everything up. Cause I mean, like, you can't really do much, like, in terms of... Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, in terms of their EULA, it's too constricting. Like, I just wish they would kinda... be a bit more easy with it. What about you? You play any other games, or? Well, that's fair. No, I get that. That's me with Valorant. I know, that's kind of why I left it for Valorant. Like, don't get me wrong, cheaters can still happen, but it's a lot less, at least. But I also don't like the fact that it's kernel of lit that's cheap, but I also only use Windows for gaming, so it's like... It's kind of a trade-off, but not the worst. So, honestly, what I would recommend, Money, is sit down, pick a few projects. I would personally recommend, like, for example, some basic, you know, CRUD applications, so create, read, update, and delete. So this could be something like, for example, simulating an ATM, you know, a cash register, whatever. Sit down, look at how one of them work. Start with a single computer, then start looking at new projects, and then eventually expand to distributed systems. So basically having multiple computers talking to each other in tandem. That's where I would start with Java. It's really not a hard language. Another thing to really keep in mind is don't abuse static. Pretty hefty one. A lot of people tend to do that, and it can screw them over. No, I know, I didn't want to put your audio in case you echoed, because I didn't want to risk you echoing on yourself. I don't know if I can add a separate audio track. I think it'd be okay. I don't know how to do it. Here, what I'll do is, give me a sec, I'll make it so I can hear you. Give me 1 second. I do not use OBS much personally.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go.
Oh. I don't know if I'll be able to hear you. Yeah. I don't know. I'll find out for the future. They'll think I'm schizophrenic. It's okay. I promise I'm not schizophrenic, guys. I promise I'm not schizophrenic. Also, welcome, Yellow. How are you today? I just completely forgot what. Oh, never mind. I know what I was doing. I mean, technically, I've been doing it since I was a kid. So it's like. It's hard for me to really. Like, some of my first code is probably made when I was probably about 6 or 7, and that would have been Lua. Wait, why am I doing? Okay, there we go. This can all be cleaned up and simplified. So, what we can then do is we can do Hello, Bruce. How are you today? So I'm currently working on a network core. So it basically handles things like, for example, punishments, ranks, grants, chat management, announcements, notes, proof for punishments, rank editor, reports, requests, essential commands, homes, stuff like that. It's currently a recode of our current existing plugin Akuma. I was playing Valorant, and I'm pretty sure I forgot to take my meds, so I'm like really wired right now. And I have a migraine, so it's like... I feel lazy if I have a migraine and I don't do anything, because people tend to feel like I use it as an excuse, so I just stopped. Process. So I can explain it for you actually a bit easier, like a bit simpler of what's happening. So let's start at the top. So I'm gonna just assume that you're new to Java. You might not be. But so all I'm doing here is creating a member variable to this object. A class in Java is an object. When you initialize a class, you are creating an object. So in this case, I'm defining a member variable for it, in this case a reference to my disguise handler, which I'm retrieving from my main instance, or my main class. So I'm setting that to my member variable that I declared up here. So then down here, I have an annotation, which is signified by this and symbol. So subcommand means that it has a existing parent or an existing root command, in this case disguise. The name of the subcommand is setScan, so that's its label. And then this is the permission required for the player to be able to use it. And then for our method signature, or for our method and its parameters, we have public void execute. Public because we want everybody to be able to see this method, because it has to be resolvable. Void because we don't want to return anything. If this function doesn't, like for example, complete, we do not want to return a value, we don't need to. If it fails, it's acceptable for it to just do nothing. We do not need to process it further. Execute's just the name, the parentheses just start where our parameters are. Command sender in bucket, or in Minecraft, in reference to Spigot, I should say, is command sender, which is just generic for either a player or console. Disguise name is just the the disguised player's name, and then the skin to copy is the player's skin that you want to copy for that disguise. So I'll check chat in a sec, just right quick. So I don't go live often. I do want to go live more often. It's hard for me to find motivation to do so, especially if I don't have something to keep me interested, like for example talking to somebody, or like for example just doing something that I actually want to do in the moment. Though if, like for example, I'm ever up late, I usually do try to stream. I don't usually private my streams either, so you can likely go back and see other streams that I've worked on code. And then, so I guess I'll finish with the rest of the explanation. So, for the rest of this function or method here. I'm just defining an optional. An optional just means that it could either have a value, which in this case would be a disguise wrapper, or it could be empty, which means null in a conventional sense. Our if statement here just checks if it has a value. If it does, then we process it as a disguise wrapper. If it's not, then we want to check the Redis cache, which is basically a secondary storage medium. So that way we don't have to constantly call the database, which could lag the server. And then down here, we just call Redis. We say, hey, this is our disguise name. We get an optional passed back to us, in which case we repeat the same check from above. And then if it's not present, we check the database as the last resort. If it's present, we process the disguise wrapper. If it's not, then we send a message saying, hey, not a valid disguise, you haven't created it yet. So then, if we come down to process if we come down here to this process disguise wrapper, this just takes a command sender, a disguise wrapper, and the player's name that we want to copy the skin of. So here we just grab the UUID. So this will grab it from Mojang's API because the chances are that they're not going to be connected to our server. They would probably have never joined your server, so we just assume that we should call Mojang and say, hey, this is the player name, what data do you have? It will then send it back, and if it has a value, this will be not null. So if it's null, the skin doesn't exist, or that player doesn't exist. And then down here, we would basically process the skin update. And another thing is that I do tend to modularize my code, or break it down into smaller pieces like this. A lot of developers, especially in the Minecraft community, tend to make big blocks of code. I don't recommend this. Especially when you're writing larger pieces of code, larger classes can be very detrimental. And actually I might have an example of a point of, yeah, so this is a point of sale system actually. So for example, a cash register for a retail environment or for a restaurant. One thing I try to do is I try to break things down. So if we come here, for example, I don't know if this is the version I implemented everything in with the inventory. Yeah, here. So basically, like, I separate everything out, so where they have slight differences, they may be related, but they're completely different. So I separate everything out into, like, an API, and then I implement it in my core. That's another difference that I like to do. And then in terms of my classes, if a function does multiple things, I separate it into multiple functions. So like in this case, I'm checking for a cache presence to see if it exists, and then I'm also processing if it is existing. So I separate them into two separate functions, so that way if, say, oh, the cache check is never returning, it's just not sending me a message, I can instantly jump to process cache check. Or if I need to do the opposite and process disguise wrapper, I can jump to it a lot easier. Alright, so let's see. Just do this. Okay, so in this case we should display different message because it is not the same case. player's profile. And we want to come back here. And then okay. So, let's see here. What if? Wow, we can just do equals this guy's record up. Okay, that is weird. I'm an idiot. I'm not converting it to a builder. That makes complete sense. Builder equals. Actually, before I forget, I might add the Redis packet stuff. True that. Nah, see, I did that in Akuma originally on Lotus for a test version because I completely forgot that I redid packets. And so basically every single permission check was failing because no packets were being received by the server. And the best part is that I was incrementing the count of packets received. So I basically convinced myself the packets were being sent even though they were absolutely not being sent. And I haven't used this packet processor in a while. Yeah, I made a generic for it. I keep forgetting I don't use packets anymore. Or I do, but use data processors. I mean, if you want to add me on Discord, go ahead. I don't mind answering your questions, ma'am. Oh, fair enough, man. It's Sounds good. Fair enough, man. Have a good night. It was nice talking to you about this thing. For sure, man. Have a good night, man. But no, I definitely will try to go live more. There. See, because like technically, yeah, I guess I can do that. You can just set the chair aside. Okay. This guy's in, this guy's in. Actually, I should name that properly. So it may not necessarily be clear to somebody else auditing the code what is happening. Rename usages. Yeah. Wait. What am I doing? New. Disguise. Processor. New. Disguise. Processor. There you go. Okay, so what we can do is, first of all, process a packet. Okay, that may not be necessary. Continue disguise, add class disguise, close. Yes. Actually, I can just do. I have no clue, Bruce, to be honest with you. I think so, but I don't know if he's doing Java. I think he's doing C and C++, which, I mean, I can't blame him. They're both good languages, but personally, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to C or C++ again. It's not a bad language, but I don't really have uses for it personally, at the moment at least. Let's get this done. So, you can then process it here. It's fine. Delete. So, probably should have did this originally. Now that I build. This has to be quite That should be too bright already. I've been coding since I was about 6 or 7. I originally started it with Lua, I then experimented with C, C++ for a bit, then Java, then wrote Java for probably about 2 years, quit for a while, came back to it, and then have wrote it since. So in total probably... yeah, I'd say probably about 14, 15 years total across all languages. Java, probably at least 7 or 8, at least. How about you? How long have you been coding? Yeah, actually, because I don't really need to... Technically, there's additional overhead for the stream invasion. I'm not gonna do that. Not for right now, at least. I'll benchmark it later. So... Basic gets done. Yep. So then, let's see what the commands there are. Set name. I'll do set name later because So, this guy's name context. So, when in cloud coding, I can get it if else correct to save my life, but I've seen the So, I'm gonna give you this tip, which is don't overcomplicate it. right? An if statement is just basic logic. If something is true, right? So think about it as 0 or 1, right? 1 being true, 0 being false. If the left side is 1 and the right side is 1, your code will run. If either side is not, if either side is 0, it'll be false, right? So let's do a basic if check here, right? So this here, right, optional, right? If we come into the optional class here, right, we see that is present just returns Boolean. So what we can think about this is Boolean present, right? We can just think of this as if present, right? So if this is true, then do this. Otherwise, right, else do this. Since I returned here, I don't need this else. I can remove this else, right? So it's a little bit easier to look at. But nonetheless, I am still just checking if a value is true, right? If that makes sense. I'll change the value just because consistency. Wait. just do a few things. Now what we can do is we can do this can be replaced with remove. This can be replaced with remove. This can. There we go. And that's the remove done. Alright, let's see here. So I had this little layer has the console put a string fit as if okay. Well, so let's code it up then. Okay. So, I'm not going to guarantee that this works, but nonetheless. So, divisible. I believe that's the mod operator. So, yeah, so what it would be. So if I recall correctly, it would be this. And then if the input is also divisible by 3, I believe I have to invert these. If the number is divisible by 5, fizz. If the number is and then what we would do is we just return so in Java you have the mod operator. This means divisible. So basically what'll happen, if I recall correctly, is that it will take this number and then divide it by this number and then check if there's a remainder, if I recall correctly. I do not use it much, but I believe off the top of my head that is what it does. I can double check that right quick. So the and symbol's there, so what you could do is, if I do input divisible by 5 equals 0, and, so this just means and, so it basically just means if the input is if the input is divisible by 5, and this is here means and, so if it's divisible by 5, and it's divisible by 3, then the code inside here will execute. Otherwise, down here executes. And if we drop the parentheses and return here, right, we could do return fizz, and then return buzz. Basically that. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, is that there's nothing wrong with looking at the solution. As long as you take the time to look for the solution, that's what matters. And as long as you look at ways to improve the solution you find, at the end of the day, it's a learning experience, and that's what matters. I could maybe work on... Oopsies, didn't mean to do that. Could do disguise placeholders. True. True. And actually, I'll add those to my placeholder document. That's releases, yeah. optional is not present, return keywords otherwise.
I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Default rank prefix. Otherwise, if disguise wrapper.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, dude, I forgot that they disguised rank names. Or disguised ranks attached. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. I think so at least. Oh no, I guess I did mean that actually. Yeah, because people wanted it separate, I forgot. So... yeah, using scanner. I haven't used scanner in a long time, personally. Okay, so this actually becomes useless because... alright, so... See, the thing is understanding what the code does, and, like, for example, the different concepts is very much just as important as actually writing the code. But one thing that you're gonna learn is that you should be writing just as much code as you are consuming material. So a general, like for me, a general rule of thumb is if I say watch, say, an hour or two lecture on a topic, I then go and spend a proportional amount of time to that topic. So for example, if I'm, say, reviewing Redis streams or Apache Kafka, I then go and use that for a duration and experiment with it. So that way I'm actively working with it to learn. Though it doesn't work for everybody. Everybody has their own learning method. In terms of, like, disguises, what do the rest tomorrow? I'm thinking. Set name I can't really do right Or, well, I can, technically. But not... Well, I wouldn't finish it. I don't want to leave it half done. I'll go through and sort these. Actually, better idea. Let me check Trello. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is you can find different approaches to things with the varying results. You just have to look for what's good for your situation. So, like, for example, when I was deciding on what frameworks to use for Hephaestus, the reason I stuck with a Jedis pub sub and not Redis streams, mainly being is that it just fit the use case better. I didn't want to have a standalone application running in the background consuming events. Rather, I can let the servers do this as they come in, because it's not necessarily going to be an overwhelming amount of data. Though something I might do is convert a few things into streams for more efficient memory management. Because I don't necessarily need to always retain them after they've been processed. Punishment ladders, I might just do per server. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. What I'll do is... Oh, okay. What we'll do... I guess how I want to do it is type map integer ladder tier. I probably won't. I'll be going to bed in a few minutes, but it was nice talking to you, and I will likely stream tomorrow, though. I don't know if it'll be as late, but I will likely be streaming tomorrow. So have a good night. Have a good night or day, and yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Feel free to message me if you have any questions as well, man. Have a good day at work. That has to be duration. String. Message. Together, first of all. Don't need to punish message, just the type. So, I'll just do that to rank related configs. Yeah, we'll organize that a bit better. So, now we will go. Actually, yeah, it's fine for now. I'll implement the interface and then that's it. I had to bed. Alright. I'm gonna head to bed, guys. It's been fun. I hope you guys have an amazing night, and we'll see you soon.